Hello beer tubers and welcome to yet another beer review with me, Peter, the master of hoppets. Today doing a vintage Bock tasting, courtesy of Bierothek in Bamberg. So Bamberg's Bierothek provided me some beers this year, and was it also last year? I think so. That I got courtesy of Enzo who works there, and also Mikkel, a friend of mine who lives in Bamberg. Bamberg. And well, basically he brought some bottles when he was back here for me to try. And some of them have been a little bit slow, but to get reviewed, mainly because, you know, dark beers, you're like, oh, they can sit. And you end up leaving them in the cellar because you have like other stuff that you need to drink first. But this will be fun because this is a style of beer I don't drink too often. I think Bocks can be pretty nice, mainly like Doppelbock is what I prefer in the world of Bock beer. But they can be pretty good. The light ones, like the Maibock and Hitlerbock, are not really my cup of tea. I mean, they're okay, but it's nothing I would like seek out. But a good Doppelbock once in a while can be really nice. Or a dark bock, like a Dunkelbock. So we're trying 3 different bocks today. And I think we're just going to go by vintage instead of ABV. They're all around the same ABV, so we're going to try and go by vintage. Because I think that kind of makes the most sense, so we can try how a fresher Bock is compared to like an older one. So we're trying the Brauerei Wagner's Bock Dunkel from Merkendorf, and this is a dark Bock on, I think this was 7.5%, so that's actually the ABV territory of a Doppelbock, but they call it themselves a regular Bock or dark Bock. And then we're jumping a bit in age, this is from 2018, and then we have this one, which is from Privatbrauerei in Lohndorf, and this is their Dunkle Reh-Bock. And this one is from 2015. So, oh wait, this is actually the oldest. So I got it wrong, so let's just switch. So this is 15. Holy shit, that's some old Bock. That's like 4 years old. And this is 7.1. So again, this could also pretty much be a Doppelbock. And the final one is from Brauhaus Faust, and this is the Jahrgangsbock. And this is the only one that they claim themselves as a Doppelbock. Here they also say Dunkelbock, and this is from 2016. So we got an 18, 16, and 15 series of Bocks. As it says on the label here, vintage strong beer. But again, yeah, the only one that characterizes itself as a Doppelbock, and it's on 7.5% alcohol. So this will be interesting. I can really smell lots of malty aromas. So that's what you expect from Bock beers, right? Big malt cannons. So let's start off with the Brauerei Wagner, the Bock Bier Dunkel or Bock Dunkel, which is the freshest one. And that also looks like pretty much the lightest one of the bunch. Well, it's at least the most red one. It's like a nice mahogany amber with reddish hues. It looks pretty nice. It looks like what you'd expect from a darker Bock. A nice beige head. Let's check out the aroma. Yeah, okay, no really signs of aging on this one. This has been aged quite well. And also, big thanks to Enzo specifically, because a lot of these, I'm not sure if all of them, but at least these 2 are from his private cellar, because he'll buy like loads of different Bock beers and traditional beers that are good for aging, and then age them for like years, which is really cool. I'm not good at stuff like that. But also, Bocks like these in Germany are so well priced. It smells nice. I'm getting like honey sweetness. Lots of breadiness. That's one of the big things with this style. Like so much like freshly baked dark bread, like even almost like pumpernickel. And then caramelized nose. The more I'm smelling it, maybe I get a little bit of an aging sign. You're getting that slightly sherry-like aroma from oxidation. I think I'm getting a little bit of it on the aroma. But most is just a big, chewy, bready malt with that classic super clean yeast profile. That's right. Cheers, and thanks to Bierothek, Mikkel, and Enzo for these brews. Wow, that screams tradition, but fuck, that is well brewed Bock. That is really well brewed Bock. This is like the German malt cannon beer. You know, England have or the UK have their barley wine as a malt cannon, but this is where you go in Germany. This is their like big malt cannon, and actually some of those Doppelbocks can be really nice because there's like not much yeast flavor or hop flavor. It's really one of those beers where the malts really get to shine, which is unfortunately, it seems like it's a little bit of style or types of beer that are going out of fashion a little bit people don't like these big malty flavors too much anymore. Super clean, super bready, super caramelly, toasted nuts. There's almost like a slight like burnt or roasty note. Just super light. Almost like you toasted bread. Yeah, like you took a piece of bread and charred it a bit too long. It's almost like a bit of that. That's actually pretty damn good. So, moving on to the Faust Jahrgangsbock. So this is the one, as I said, they categorize this as a Doppelbock, and they actually have tasting notes on the back. They say red berries, rum tops, marzipan, sherry, getrocknete Beeren, drunk berries? Drowning berry? I'm not entirely sure. Getrocknete, I'm not sure what that really means. And they say something about the fact that it has lots of malt character. So, this one is definitely darker. And that's also one of the things you'll often find with the Doppelbocks, is that they are a tad darker than the Dunkle box. Often like really dark brown, actually, and more so than this. It looks more brown on camera, but it is definitely brown with nice copper hues. Also a beige head. Let's check out the aroma on the 2016 Jahrgangsbock from Faust. Ooh, much more sweet malt character on this one. This is more bready, malty, caramelly. This is much more sweet malt. There's definitely some caramel vibes, and the sherry really shines on that for me. But it's fun because there's quite big different malt profile. Actually, also when I smell this, I'm getting a little bit of a berry vibe. Even though this one says it has berry notes. But this one is a bit more rounded, a bit more subdued. It's 7.5 as well. Really impressed. Like the sherry amounts, like oxidized aged notes in here are super light. So it's aged quite well. Let's try it. Cheers. Big time caramel on this one. Like loads of caramel. It's also bready, but the other one is much more bready. Like this is like just like a big hefty bread bomb, where this is like just like freshly toasted, over toasted bread. This is like huge sticky caramelly, and not sticky, but like really caramelly flavor. And also they're not too sweet at all. It's not like what you find in some more modern beers. And toasty and nutty. A more toasty, nutty flavor maybe than the other one. Well, the other one's like so bready. The caramel, I don't know about red berries on this one. I'm kind of getting into in the other one now though. Fuck, I don't know when they release this. If this is on when they release it. It looks like it says best before 2023. So I don't know how many years they give this. They probably aged it themselves in 16 in tank. And then released it, I'd imagine, since the date on there is so long. But this is also really good, but actually a little bit more mild and rounded on the flavors, where this actually pops a bit more, which is interesting. But that's also one of the things with aging. Sharp flavors can mellow and become really rounded, which is this in this case. So this is the oldest one. Moving on to this one from Brauerei, der Dunkle Reh-Bock. This one, actually, it says roasted malts. So it's got some kind of roast malt in here. And does it say there? Nah, it just says malt. But yeah, this one is the lowest ABV, but the oldest, 7.1%. And this is from 2015. So this is a 4-year-old bottle of Doppelbock, which is crazy. This one's probably going to be a little bit oxidized. That one is also a little bit hazy, but that's also something that can happen with the aging of beer. They can go a bit hazy. I've noticed, especially with like some really old beers. But this is also the brightest of the bunch. This is more like golden orange, whereas the other are more dark amber. Yeah, white or beige head again. Let's check out the aroma. Now this one really shows sign of aging. Definitely the one that shows signs of aging the most. It smells like a freaking dried raisin and sherry. Dried raisins are dried, and sherry bomb. So much sherry. But one thing I also pick up on this is there's a bit of a buttery note, like diacetyl. That can be quite okay in this style because it kind of works with the other flavors you're getting from the beer. But Big time sherry. Big time sherry. The sherry is really like dominating the entire aroma on this though. The others had more malt complexity. This is just big time sherry. Let's try it. Cheers. Yeah. Big time sherry. Like it's this like dry sherry, almost like woody flavor. And it's not barrel aged, but you get that from aging sometimes from oxidation. There's more red berries. There's definitely dark fruit kind of notes in this one as well, like kind of raisins, as I said. Whereas the others are like just like malt cannons. And it's funny because you're going down, like it seems like this has the most flavor, and then it just mellows about out over time. Whereas this one is like a bit more mellow than this one, but much more like aged tasting. Yeah, they're pretty nice. Some honey sweetness on this one as well, a little bit. Nutty, bready as well, but the big thing is like oxidized. So if we had to like kind of split them apart, huge bready flavors, huge caramel, huge oxidized flavor or aged flavor. Which one do I prefer? I actually prefer the first one, this Wagner one. This is the one that pops the most on the flavor profile, which I like. I think that's a really nice bock. Dunkle. I actually thought I'd like the Faust more because it's a Doppelbock, but yeah, okay. It's definitely one of these two, but I can't really decide. I think I'll tie them. Whereas this is, I won't say my like these favorite. They're nice bocks, but I prefer those like big popping malt profile and caramel profile more so than the sherry on this one. And it's also a little bit lighter. The body on these two are a bit more slick and slightly velvety. I wouldn't say creamy per se, whereas this is a bit more thin. So let's go with some grades. I'll say like an 85, no, 87, 86 for these two, and an 85 for the Reh-Bock. I think they're pretty good beers. Nothing amazing, not the best double box I've had, or box I've had, but pretty nice box. And it's quite fun to try like this, like the age, see how the age changes this kind of style of beer. So if you guys have had a chance to try any of these beers, let me know what you thought of them. If you want to try some bocks and you're in Germany, check out Bierothek. They have web shops and whatnot. They're all over the country. They have a great selection of beers, but specifically check out the one in Bamberg if you're in Bamberg. And as always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And thanks for watching, and thanks to Bierothek for the beers. And I'm going to say cheers, and see you guys in another beer review.